Hi again. And John Stott. The Spirit, the Church, and the World, the Message of Acts, page 348, chapter 22 of Acts. Paul is protected by Roman law. Twice more in this brief section, Roman law and justice come to Paul's aid. First, Claudius Lysias again rescues him from lynching, and secondly, having discovered his Roman citizenship, from flogging. As they were shouting and throwing off their cloaks and flinging dust into the air, the commander ordered Paul to be taken into the barracks. He directed that he be flogged and questioned in order to find out why the people were shouting at him like this. As they stretched him out to flog him, Paul said to the centurion standing there, "Is it legal for you to flog a Roman citizen who hasn't even been found guilty?" When the centurion heard this, he went to the commander and reported it. "What are you going to do?" he asked. "This man is a Roman citizen." The commander went to Paul and asked, "Tell me, are you a Roman citizen?" "Yes, I am," he answered. Then the commander said, "I had to pay a big price for my citizenship." "But I was born a citizen," Paul replied. Those who were about to question him withdrew immediately. The commander himself was alarmed when he realized that he had put Paul, a Roman citizen, in chains. The crowd was not content with shouting and screaming, according to chapter 22, verse 22. They were waving their cloaks about and flinging dust into the air. H.J. Cadbury suggested that these gestures may have expressed not so much excitement, anger, and hostility as horror in reaction to blasphemy. In any case, the commander forestalled any further attempt by the crowd to get their hands on Paul by giving orders for the second time for him to be taken into the barracks. He then gave instructions to examine him by flogging, verse 24 in the New English Bible. This ghastly ordeal was the standard way of extracting information from prisoners. The scourge, that is Latin flagellum, was a fearful instrument of torture consisting of leather thongs weighted with rough pieces of metal or bone and attached to a stout wooden handle. If a man did not actually die under the scourge, which frequently happened, he would certainly be crippled for life. That's a direct quote from F.F. Bruce's English commentary on Acts. The rescue from flogging, that is verses 25 to 29 of chapter 22. Paul was actually being prepared for the flogging when he divulged his Roman citizenship. Similarly, in Philippi, he had not revealed that he was a Roman citizen until after he had been beaten, imprisoned, and put in the stocks. He seems for some reason not to have wanted to take advantage of being a citizen, except in some dire extremity. Dr. Sherwin White acknowledges that, quote, the precise legal situation of Roman citizens in provincial jurisdiction is not well documented in this period. Nor is it clear precisely what the citizen's privileges were, although it is agreed that he was exempt from examination by flogging, that is, torture without trial. Citizenship tended to be either by right, for those of high status or office, or by reward, for those who had served the empire well. It was passed on from father to son, which was the case with Paul. It could also be bought, not with a fee, but with a bribe to some corrupt official in the imperial secretariat or the provincial administration, which was the case with Claudius Lysias. Indeed, such corruption was rife during the reign of the Emperor Claudius, which may explain why the commander had added the name Claudius in honor of the emperor to his cognomen, which is Lysias. Although the commander was alarmed when he realized that he had put Paul, a Roman citizen, in chains, he does not seem to have released him from them. At least he was still in chains the following day and subsequently. What is the explanation of this? Possibly a distinction is to be made between the heavy chains, a torture in themselves, of which Paul may have been relieved, and the lighter chains to prevent the prisoner from escaping. Next time, Paul stands before the Sanhedrin. I'll put in a link to Michael Green's discussion of how God used Rome and Caesar to create the world in which Christianity was born.